Hey YouTube, we have an awesome video for you this week, and it's a big deal for us because it's a long time coming. We're actually going to reveal and explain a project that has been working on all the way since 2008. So that's 14 years in the making. It's the Pixel project. For some of you, if you go way back, we talked about it. It was the J2. We've renamed it the Pixel, and we're going to tell you everything you need to know about this awesome new morph. So the Pixel project starts way back in 2008. Now, if you guys were in the industry back that long ago, you know that Outback was the place to go for unique captive hatched animals. And I was getting lots of pictures from them back then and just trying to pick a few interesting animals here and there. Nothing wild, but you know, we always like the idea of being able to find the next big morph that maybe doesn't look like anything, but will become a big powerhouse in combos in the future. So in 2008, I was given the opportunity to pick up about a dozen amazing, interesting captive hatch animals, and the vast majority of them did not prove to be anything. But from that year, I ended up with the Peach project, which we talked about a little bit in the past, which turned out pretty cool. And then two really weird granites, more extreme granites that I'd ever seen in the industry at that point, and they're very unique. We named them J1 and J2. J2 ended up being the more extreme, and it has been developed for the last 14 years to become the Pixel project. We're going to introduce that to you and talk to you about how that original female, how we leveraged her and used her in different ways to create the combos all the way up to 2020 when we made the first supers. They're really cool. So let's dig in and go look at how that female looks now. All right, so here's the original Pixel girl that we got all those years ago. So she took me 6 years to get the first clutch from her, and that was really painful wait. She was a kind of a poor eater to start out. She's a great example of why you sometimes be really patient with a girl that's not going to eat really well initially, and you think, is this really even worth it? Is it worth the wait? Because look at her clutch record. So she produced in 14, 15, 16. She skipped 2017. 18, 19, and 20. That's after being a poor eater and me wondering if she's ever going to produce a clutch. But yeah, she is absolutely phenomenally beautiful. And just look at the pocketing and her sides. Just a very extreme. That's single gene. That's not a combo, and that is not a super or anything like that. So the first clutch we got from her, we made one really nice Pixel in the clutch, and it's actually a pastel GHI Pixel, and I'll throw up a picture here of the siblings so you see the difference between a regular pastel GHI, but look at how much the pattern is opened up, these giant huge gaps in every alien head, just much more extreme in the GHI. I was very impressed with this. It ended up being another girl, so I still didn't have a male yet to run back to the original female. So then the following year I decided to go with a red stripe project and see how we could move it into some of the red stripe with the yellow belly, the fire. We had a really awesome male for that. So we ran into that. We ended up making some really insane Pixels. However, they were all girls again, and I was starting to get really nervous about the project. Let's look at how those girls looked, and then we'll talk about what we did after that. This is Fire Yellow Belly Red Stripe J2. So the fire and the red stripe and the yellow belly work so good. They make all this striping. What I was really impressed with was just how granite pixel up the sides are, and that's what kind of really started giving me the Pixel name. And so I started thinking about that because I saw just how amazing these side patterns were, and I was just really blowing it up at that point. Really impressed with this snake. Then we made a fire version as well. Now these are big girls now that are breeding and probably likely to produce it this year. This is a giant fire Pixel. Again, check out those sides, just absolutely incredible. And it's nice to be able to see it in a simple combo like this. You can see exactly what the effect is. A beautiful girl. Then that same year, we also made a mahogany Pixel, which turned out really incredible, and it was 100% het pied. We did a mahogany pied to a Pixel. And so this year, she's actually gravid right now. Maybe we'll see what the first Pixel pied looks like. All right, so I'm 2 breeding seasons in, and I still have not yet hatched a male Pixel. If we were talking back then, you probably remember me complaining to you that I thought maybe he was sex-linked, that I would never get a male, or wondering what was going on. But then we repeated the pairing the next year with that same red stripe project, and we ended up finally getting our first male Pixel. So this was the first male from the project, red stripe, yellow belly, Pixel. Absolutely beautiful. Really, really nice. And finally, I was able to put him to work. At this point, I was so focused on making super pixels and finding out what came of that, I never even really, which is unusual for me, never really even put it into, say, clowns or some of these other recessives, which would have been absolutely phenomenal. We just focused 1,000% on running him back to his mom and to 2 other pixel girls that we had. And so in 2020, we were able to start making our first super forms. So here I'm going to show you the kind of progression of the single gene into the super and show you how you can kind of see the difference as it progresses along these different combos. So this is the single gene pixel, a super pixel. You see how much crazier the sides get on that. Yellow belly pixel, and then a super pixel yellow belly. So you see how the super form is far more extreme than the single genes. It takes it up a notch. It really makes the sides, they almost give it a look like the paint gene. Now the paint is very different. It's basically an almost recessive gene where the pixel is very, much more visual, but it has a similar effect when you get into the super form to what the paint project is doing. And I'm really, really, really impressed with how these turned out. It's definitely worth the 14 years now we've spent on it to get to the super forms and find out exactly what we're working with. So a couple other combos we made. This is a red stripe super pixel. Absolutely blown up sides. It's so blown up that you can't hardly tell the alien heads from the space in between the alien heads. It kind of all blends together because it's so pocketed up. So this is red stripe super pixel, and this is yellow belly red stripe super pixel. And so you see the yellow belly, of course, brings in a lot of more of the orange and rusty colors into the red stripe. Really, really great combo. So the final snake from the project I'm going to show you is my favorite holdback from this year, and it's another little girl. This is Fire Yellow Belly Super Pixel. So this girl really kind of shows the direction. I've been really impressed with this project, and that is that it's very, very bright. A lot of really cool highlights, and yet the sides are absolutely becoming just insanely complicated, I guess you could say, to where it's just so pixelated up that you can't even really determine where the alien heads are versus the spaces in between. And this snake to me is just the absolute phenomenal apex that we've made so far. So that's the Pixel project. It's been something we've worked on for so long, and it's really awesome to be able to share with you results. Honestly though, it's a little discouraging because with a lot of these projects, you develop them for a long time, you find out how awesome they are, and then when you finally kind of get to that apex and you're like, oh, this is what we can do, you're thinking, why didn't I put it into all this crazy stuff in the past? Why don't I have it into Desert Ghost and Clown or even Heads or anything like that? And that's definitely how I feel right now. We're trying to correct that a little bit this year by making some different heads, but it's just one of those things that you don't know until you really develop a project whether or not you want to put a bunch of time into it. So we have kept this pretty much in-house. We have sold a few of them to Asia. One is going to Europe. We've sold one in the US, one female here in the US. We're going to release a couple more females this year, I think, and we're going to slowly develop this project and just keep making it better and better and better. So if you're interested, let me know, and we're really excited to kind of keep bringing you the progress we make on this. Until next week, be sure to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.